This is UleFone Armor 33 Pro and this is Unapologetically Wild and Fun. Hi everyone, this is JD, your gadget review friend. Welcome and welcome back to Gadget Rev Now. There are so many big battery rugged phones out there, different styles and gimmicks, but what if we have a big battery phone that is functional, might have the biggest battery capacity, and really affordable? UleFone Armor 33 Pro is dual screen with big battery capacity. Is this phone worth it? Let's start with the build and design, and the Armor 33 Pro is unapologetically big and unforgivingly heavy. That's the first thing you will notice, and probably the worst thing that you could ever say to this phone, but everything goes upwards after this. If you're able to get past through the weight and the size thing, which by the way all the rugged phones with big battery has, this phone is really sturdy. The combination of metal, plastic, and glass. This phone weighs around 0.7 kilograms and only available on Phantom Black color. Let's start with the elephant in the room. It has a secondary screen at the back, a 3.4-inch display. Then we have a 4-watt loudspeaker on top with colored LED lights. It is surrounded by a triple camera setup, a 50-megapixel main sensor, 64-megapixel night vision, and 50-megapixel ultra-wide with flash and infrared light at the bottom. On one side, we have a dedicated camera shutter, power button, and volume buttons. On top, we have the earphone jack and IR blaster. On the other side, we have a SIM card slot that can be opened with your nails, a custom key to open any apps or functions. Underneath that is the uSmart connector that we will test later using some accessories that was sent to us. And at the bottom, we have the microphone and a Type-C charging port. And same with other UleFone Armor series, we have IP68, IP69K, and MIL STD8 certification. Means it has splash, water, and dust resistant. With its curved design at the back, although bulkier, it's easier to hold. The edge of the phone has rubber protection just in case you drop it, and if you put this on a table face up, the secondary screen and camera lens are protected by a raised bump so it won't scratch. Now, I've been testing this phone for quite a bit and has a really good grasp of what this phone can offer. It's a solid mid-range phone with a MediaTek Dimensity 7300X, clock at 2.5 GHz with Mali G615 MC2, and MediaTek NPU 655 AI processing unit. Day-to-day performance is really good, especially if you're doing daily tasks like opening of apps, browsing the internet and social media, call and text, and watching content on YouTube and Netflix. And even those advanced work like video editing and gaming, 7300X is a really good chip that can handle multitasking and heavy apps. There's a huge 16 gigs of RAM that's helping with the multitasking. I didn't feel any hiccups opening of apps, but some heavy apps may reload. You can also add additional 16 gigs of memory from that huge 512 gigs of phone storage. And if that's not enough, you can add 2 terabytes of micro SD card. Mind you that the phone storage is using UFS 3.1, so the read and write is really fast on this phone. I played games like PUBG and Mobile Legends, and this phone can reach up to high settings and high graphics. On Mobile Legends, I don't feel any hiccups. I enjoyed playing games on this phone, especially with that huge battery, but sometimes I have to put my hands on the table while playing because of the size. But then again, it's a really small issue considering you can play hours and hours of gaming with that huge 25,000 milliampere battery. And aside from the great mid-range performance, this also runs on Android 14. It's a pure Android system. It feels like you're using a Pixel phone. From the icon swiping up and even swiping left for the Google cards, as soon as I entered my Google email and information, it loads pretty much like a Pixel phone. I think the only difference here is the tiled toolbars. Instead of an oval, it's actually circular, which I feel is better and cleaner compared to a Pixel phone. You can also create larger folders, a 3x3 folders on the home screen, like something you would see on a Huawei or Vivo phones. The only difference here is the widget. This is like an AOSP widget for Google, not like what we see on Pixel phones. Other than that, the animation and the areas of the phone with the lock screen or home screen, or even the Google cards, it's pretty much pure Android OS without ads. Now let's talk about the primary screen. Mind you that this phone has dual screen, and right now we're talking about the larger amongst the two, which is the front screen. It is a 6.95-inch screen, almost 7 inches. So if you're into content consumption like watching Netflix, Disney, and Prime Video, this is more like a tablet-like phone for camping, outdoor activities, and even those longer marathon of TV shows at home. This is the perfect phone for you. It wasn't advertised, but it is an LCD screen with full HD plus resolution, 1080p by 240/60 resolution. We got a good max brightness of 700 nits, not the brightest amongst all the mid-range phones, but totally fine and protected by Gorilla Glass 5. And with that big screen, viewing experience is really immersive, like watching on a tablet. And if you decided to play games, it has 120Hz refresh rate. So if the game is supporting that, then definitely it is playable on this phone. Now, the screen real estate never stops there because you have a secondary screen, and this really changed the dynamics on how you would see a smartphone. By the way, this is the first time I held a dual screen phone, and the secondary phone is acting like a real phone screen. Normally, I would get a secondary screen with smartwatch time on it, or like a dot matrix for nothing phone, and these secondary screens have limited functions, more of like a gimmick. But the secondary screen of Armor 33 Pro at the back is really useful and eye-catching. It is a 3.4-inch IPS LCD screen, same as the front screen with an HDR plus resolution, and a peak brightness of 600 nits. This is also protected by Gorilla Glass 5, making it one of the toughest rugged phones with dual screen. There are so many applications of the secondary screen for notification, Teams meeting, live streaming, instant messaging, and even controlling your music app. And my personal favorite is using the secondary screen to shoot the rear camera, which I feel is better comparing it with the selfie. This is the best vlogging rugged phone out there because you can use the rear camera with that secondary screen to frame and compose your shot. You don't have to second guess whether you're in frame or not. The rear camera also offers 4K 30 FPS video recording, so I would take advantage of that and use the secondary screen. And speaking of properly shooting your videos and images, let's talk about the camera of this phone. We have a triple camera system, a 50 megapixel main, 64 megapixel night vision, and 50 megapixel ultra wide. We also have 32 megapixel front camera if you want to use this on selfie or video call. I much prefer the rear camera for video recording because of the secondary screen, so definitely you have options for photos and videos. We have a couple of OmniVision sensors at the back, the main sensor and the night vision, and the ultra wide is manufactured by Samsung and also the selfie, so definitely the quality of the photos and videos are awesome. Again, as I was mentioning, the rear camera can record 4K video and the selfie can record 1080p. So we have options for recording 1080p selfie or use the secondary screen to record 4K video. We also have a dedicated shutter on the right side of the phone, so you don't have to click the screen. This is very helpful because of the weight of the phone. You might accidentally drop it while recording or taking a shot. Here, I will show you some sample images and videos for you to see the quality of the cameras. This is the video quality using the front camera or the selfie, 32 megapixel. I think one of the nicest thing about UleFone Armor 33 Pro is if you use the rear camera of this phone, you have a secondary screen at the back, so you can still record and frame your shot like the one on the selfie. This is the stabilization test using the rear camera in 4K, 30 FPS. This is 1x. Let's switch to the ultra wide. And this is the ultra wide lens in full HD or 1080p 30 FPS. There's no 4K on the ultra wide. Let's switch to the main sensor on 1080p. And this is the main sensor in full HD or 1080p 30 FPS. And you would notice that the stabilization is much better compared to 4K. So if you're using this phone for an action activity or outdoors, walking, vlogging outdoors, then switch to 1080p. But if you will just put this on a tripod, you can actually use 4K. Now we're switching to the vlogging test. Now this is the vlogging test outdoors. This is not on a tripod, but it is handheld. But you could see that if you're not moving a lot, then you can still use this for vlogging. I like the background blur. There's a bit of a background blur on 4K video recording. And this is probably one of the best smartphones or rugged phones in terms of video performance in 4K. Let's switch to 1080p. Now this is 1080p or full HD 30 FPS, and you can move around. If you switch this to 1080p, because the stabilization is better compared to 4K. Again, in terms of camera performance, both the photos and the videos, I think UleFone Armor 33 Pro is one of the nicest rugged phones out there. Alright, this is the vlogging test indoors, so you would see what you would look like if you would like to post this on social media like Facebook or YouTube. This is the sit-down vlogging test using UleFone Armor 33 Pro. I like the colors, I like the contrast and the skin tone of UleFone Armor 33 Pro. I think that's it for the vlogging test. Now, if you talk about music and content consumption, then this is where the audio will be considered. First, we have a 3.5mm headphone jack on top. So if you have a high-fidelity headphones or earbuds, then definitely you can plug them in for a more private and immersive listening. Well, if you decide to use this as a loudspeaker, this can be a party speaker smartphone, to be honest, a 4-watt speaker that can fill up the whole room. It also has a party lights at the back or LED lights that changes colors while playing music or just anything. iPhone 16 and Samsung Galaxy S25. I think that's it for a quick audio test. Let the battle begin. Late night, feels like and if you think that this is everything this phone offers, we also have additional features. It has a blinking tricolor notification light in front that supports notification and charging prompt, a 3-slot tray with 2nano SIM card and micro SD, a phone that supports NFC payment, and a fingerprint sensor for a more secured fingerprint unlock. We also have Bluetooth 5.4, which is the latest Bluetooth technology for power efficiency and reliable connection. And lastly, a dedicated button on the left side to open anything from apps and smartphone features. Now, aside from the additional features of this phone, UleFone created an entire uSmart ecosystem around their Armor series, especially the high-end ones like the Armor 33 Pro, and they graciously send us the microscope and endoscope to test. I'm searching YouTube for the videos about these accessories, but I can find a lot, so hopefully this video will show you the capabilities of these accessories, starting with the endoscope. This is not in any way an endoscope to use for your physical body like for colonoscopy and things like that. I think this is more for hard-to-reach areas like pipes, sinks, and drains, and even hard-to-reach areas like inside your house, heating system, or even air condition. Something hard to see and reach. There are endless applications of this endoscope, particularly if you're camping and you need to squeeze in on those tight areas in your car or RV. This will be helpful. Now, the microscope is something that you can use scientifically. It is a digital microscope that has a really close-up range, so you can check insects or smaller objects or something you cannot see by your naked eye. Then this will be a good accessory for it. On their website, I see that the endoscope is around $60, so I believe that the microscope might be on the same price range. But before you buy these accessories for your Armor phone, please check if your phone is supporting uSmart connection. Now, it will be a bummer if you have all these features, a dual screen, a large front screen with all this connectivity and additional features or accessories, if this phone will only last you a few hours in a day. I mean, UleFone can throw a really small batteries on this phone, like 3,000 to 4,000 milliampere battery, but that's not the design and usage of this phone. It's a rugged camping phone that provides scientific accessories for a more advanced usage, and I feel like putting a 25,500 milliampere battery is a really good choice for a smartphone like this. In terms of battery performance, I don't have to reiterate the fact that this would be an easy 1 week of phone for everyone. I mean, a heavy user would probably use 3,000 to 4,000 milliampere battery a day. So divide 25,000 by 4,000, you would go more than 7 days on this phone. So let's say you're a camper or someone going for a trip, or someone who will be using this phone for a long period of time that will not have any access to a charging outlet, then this will be a perfect phone for you. This phone also offers reverse charging, so if you need to power other devices, you may use this. It also comes with a 66 watts of fast charging, so if you're in a tight situation where there's a limited time to charge this phone, then definitely a few minutes or hours will go a long way. I mean, all in all, I haven't found a rugged phone like this. Sure, we have projector phones, big speaker phones, or dual smartwatch-like screen phones, but this is the first time I held a rugged phone that has everything on it, from great performing mid-range processor, excellent build quality, dual screen functionality, triple camera setup with night vision, and an ecosystem of accessories that go bigger as time goes on. UleFone Armor 33 Pro is big, but with everything it packs, it's unapologetically wild and fun.